What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It says I, James, read optionagency.com, 20 plus years, selling on eBay. Alrighty, we're at Saturday. Adrian pulled last night for me before he left. He went up to Kansas City to some races. Mr. Vern is here. Oh, I'm not feeling too good. We're at 3:30 on Saturday. I was out yard sailing. This was out in the heat. Plus, I got my second shingles shot. Courtney! So my arm is sore. I'm just not feeling too good right this second. Feeling pretty worn down. So, come down here and relax in the coldness, the chilliness of the basement. Didn't find nothing super great at yard sales. Just hitting them kind of late. Got a bunch of vinyl, a lot of children's vinyl too. I got from an older lady. Paid 50 cents a piece for them. I ended up spending $37, so almost 80 pieces of vinyl there. And then a little boy was selling some video games, so I kind of overpaid for them. I guess I didn't, technically. I don't know, they were $1 a piece, and some of them were, they're not going to sell for really anything. But there was a couple in there, so I might double my money. But it was more just buying them from the little boy, and then I gave the older lady some extra money and stuff. So it was just about enjoying the day, I guess. So eBay did shut down overnight, as you probably know, since so many people was experiencing that issue yesterday on eBay with that line coming up, like the servers down or whatever. I know it seemed like more people than normal was experiencing this because it was all over Facebook and YouTube with people experiencing it. So eBay did, I guess, shut down from 12 to 7 Central Time last night because nothing came through. No emails, no offers, no sales. So I'm guessing that was the time they took it down, was repairing it, whatever the hell they do. Put a Band-Aid on it, whatever, and wait for the Band-Aid to fall off again. But I'm going to just get through some of this and maybe relax for the rest of the day, because I'm just poopy feeling. But so let's go and see what's sold. Hopefully some good stuff. All right, we'll start with a little $5 CD, Sisters, Song of Friendship, Joy, and Encouragement for Women. Sold for $5, headed to Gulfport, Mississippi. All righty, we got a little Willie Nelson 8-track. Sold for $10, headed to Oak Grove, Missouri. I sold these in a lot together, Trout Fishing in America CDs. Some of the ones that aren't really worth too much. Some of their cassettes, some of their CDs go for higher money, but sold these 3 for $14, headed to Orange, Texas. Dozen Fury CD, sealed, sold for $7, headed to Georgetown, Texas. All right, Cinematic CD, sold for $5, headed to Fairborn, Ohio. All righty, Naked, Raining on the Sky, CD promo single, disc only, sold for $6, headed to Indianapolis, Indiana. All righty, we got a lot of 20 cassettes, sold for $18, headed to New Jersey. Crystal Lewis CD, sold for $5, headed to Garden City, Michigan. Went over to the Benz Friday, yesterday. I got tons of stuff. It was not very busy, so I even got a couple pairs of old Kobe's shoes, Nike shoes. So one's pretty beat. The other looks okay, but for the value, the money that they're going for nowadays, it's crazy. And there was, I found this LeBron 16. I found the one right shoe, it was white, and I'm looking around for the other white shoe, and I can't find it. So I set it down. I'm like, I ain't going to be able to find this thing. Ended up passing a place where somebody throws back, and I saw the same LeBron 16, but it was black. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same size. I grabbed it and looked at it and remembered about the equality LeBron 16. One's black, one's white. I'm like, yes. So I went back to grabbed it, went back to the area where I laid the white one down. It's gone. I'm like, oh man. So I started looking all over for it, can't find it. Then I saw this one younger kid, walking around with it like he was looking for the other white shoe, like I was. And I'm following him, acting like dum-de-dum-de-dum, right? And he finally set it down when he was helping his friend mess with a drill or something that they had found. And then he walked away a little bit, leaving the shoe. So I just kind of gradually walked up behind him, kind of grabbed the shoe, turned around, walked away. Okay, so I'm like, yes, I got him. I had him sitting on the top of the cart as I was checking out, and I noticed him looking at the shoe, the white shoe on my cart. The black one was next to it too. And he started talking to his friend and kind of pointed at it. And then they both went to the area where they set it down and started looking for that white shoe, because he was thought he had a white pair, not realizing, as I did at first, that it's a white and black mixed pair. So he was looking and looking around for it, and you know, just laughing. I'm just sitting there kind of giggling to myself. I'm like, I know what that feels like. But anyway, prices do not include shipping if you're new to my videos. And then I also got a lot of hats and got a lot of clothes. Not really any media came out that day, but a lot of clothes and a lot of hats. So I'm going to be going on like a hat escapade over this next couple of months. I got so many hats. I really need to start drafting hard on hats. But anyway, $5 here, going up to Chicago. Alrighty, Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball. Looks like a giveaway of some sorts. Sold for $7, headed to Lincoln, Nebraska. MTV Party to Go Volume 3. Cassette sold for $6, headed to Greenville, South Carolina. Alrighty, we have Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroad cassette single. Sold for $7, headed to Columbia, Maryland. Waterloo, a German band. Cassette sealed, sold for $14, and it's staying in the area, St. Louis, Missouri, and it's probably a local piece. Yep, Waterloo itself. So right across the river. So $14. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Sold for $7, headed to Ohio. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the damn word. Yes, you are, James. You're going to try. Watch. All right. Wapakoneta. Wapakoneta. Ohio. That. You pronounce it. All right. $7. Jean-Michael Girard. I don't know how he pronounces his name. Girard. So far, $6, headed to San Jose, California. DJ Magic Mike. Cassette sold for $6, headed to Edie, Texas. Thing I loved about DJ Magic Mike cassettes, color on the cassettes. Always kind of did that on his cassettes, so I've always liked that. He Said, Take Care cassette sold for $8, headed to Brooklyn, New York. All right, Frost cassette single sold for $7, headed to Irvine, California, or Irvine, California, however it's pronounced. All right, Gordon Lightfoot cassette sold for $7, headed to San Antonio. All right, another one of these pens sold, staying in the area, St. Louis. This one sold for $4. I probably got about 32 left now. Alrighty, long box 1-to-1. Imagine It. CD sold for $5, headed up to Canada. Billy Crash Craddock, 45. Sold for $7, headed up to Kansas City. Alrighty, Hawaii 2004. Trucker hat, headed to Norway. Norway sold for $10. Alrighty, we got this like girls and Jack Skellington dress. I think I picked that up at the Benz. New with tags. Sold for $14, headed to Missouri City, Texas. That's confusing. Hey, it's another pair of my shorts from the Gulf thrift trip. If you're not familiar, on the last little vacation, we took the Gulf Shores. Instead of packing clothes, besides underwear and socks, of course, and shoes, I bought my clothes along the way at thrift stores. And I did wear these because I wore it with an Amber Moon WWE t-shirt that kind of matched it. I found in Carbondale, Illinois. And Amber Moon shirt sold a long time ago. But these finally sold. Sold for $10, headed to Forest, Virginia. That was a cool experience for the first time. I think I'm always going to do that now on, well, at least if as long as it's not like a resort plan trip. I've never done one of those yet, but like if we do a road trip, I'm not packing no clothes. I'm buying along the way at thrift stores. So it's kind of fun seeing what am I going to have to wear today? So it's kind of cool. Very cool experience. Kind of makes you kind of feel a little bit more freer, if you will, because you're not tied down to your suitcase or, planned. It's an unknown. And I like that about road trips, the unknown of turning down this road or turning down that road, and where you're going to end up, where you're going to stay tonight, but then throw in, what am I wearing? What am I going to wear tomorrow? It's just kind of a cool experience. Anyway, we got a Pace jersey, Rams jersey. Sold for $17.50, and it's staying in the area going out to Arnold, Missouri. All righty, we got this vintage Yacht Club, 1987. This was put up maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I think it came out of my storage, something I had picked up quite a while ago at the bins. So got a lot of vintage clothes in storage. But this one sold for $28, headed up to Chicago. All right, we got this like vintage chaps dress. At least it looks like a vintage Kohl's tag. I don't know if it's technically vintage. Vintage is 20 years. So I'm not sure if it's technically vintage, but I didn't call that in the title anyway because I didn't know for sure. But anyway, this blue dress thing here sold for $20, headed to Lawrence, Michigan. Mizzou Tigers tie-dye shirt sold for $7, headed to Lombard, Illinois. Lombard, Illinois. All right, vintage sweater here. I think this one was out of storage too. Colors by Alexander Julian. This is one of those weird sweaters with like short sleeves. Kind of crazy. This sold for $15, and it's headed to North Carolina. How about some hats now? We got the Home Depot hat. Sold for $6, headed to Sarasota, Florida. I'll have to check before the end of the video. I'm going to finish this up, and then I took offers this morning on a few higher dollar items, so I'll get those and pull those so we can at least have some few higher dollar items in this video. Wasn't too bad. I mean, not a lot of $5 stuff, but a lot of, $6, $7, $8, and we should hit some $10 stuff here, but not too bad, even with that shut off overnight today. Sales are pretty steady rolling back in, so that's good. This has sold for $6, headed to, damn it, did I do it again? Sarasota, Florida. Same name. Let me make sure he don't have other stuff in here. Dagnabbit. No, just those two. That was a waste. All right, Grand Turk visor, $6, headed to Huntingtontown, Maryland. Out of all the shots I've had my whole life, this is the part 2 of the shingles vaccine, and I have never had my arm hurt so bad from a shot before. All right, I think this was making me feel a little crappy too. My right ear is like hurting for some weird reason. Weird. But hey, if it keeps the shingles away, that stuff's a nightmare from what I've seen, from what I've heard. Like, I've known somebody who had it in his mouth, and that was just horrible. Definitely don't want to get shingles. I had chicken pox as a kid. I still got my scar. I think everybody probably has their scar who had their chicken pox. Where is it at? Right there. Wait, you can't see the way I got the camera angled. But right there. Right there in the center. That's my very first chicken pox. I remember I got it as a kid, and every year my dad's job would have a Christmas party. And they rented out this big hall, had Santa Claus, and all the kids actually got presents. I think I remember getting like what was that game? Perfection? Was it Perfection, where you got to get all the things in the things in it before it pops up? One year, and I ended up getting chicken pox like the day before that Christmas party, and I had to miss it that year. And I remember being so devastated. But yeah, definitely don't want to get shingles. So Lake of the Ozark hat sold for $6, headed to El Paso, Texas. I've been getting a lot of offers on hats for $5, and I always counter with $5.99. So that's why all these $6 hats are popping up. A lot of $6 hats. Alrighty, Missouri Tigers, Mizzou tireless hat sold for $6, headed to Illinois. American Family Insurance sold for $10, headed to Mobile, Alabama. Alrighty, we got a blank blue snapback hat here. Sold for $10, headed to Ashford, Alabama. Alright, got a St. Louis Cardinals hat. National League champions. Been in the store over 2 years. And sold for $5. And my thing aired out. Let me check that. Alright, headed to Cave City, Arkansas. Alrighty, Keystone, Colorado. Sold for $10, headed to Statesville, North Carolina. Sold to Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, the Ripoff Artists hat. Sold for $10, staying in Missouri, Cedar Hill, Missouri. Yeah, Dobbs takes advantage of people who don't know anything about vehicles. I know several people who won't go there anymore because of this, and I've had 2 incidents that when I had my Yukon XL, the third brake light went out. So it was inspection time, and had to be replaced. I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. Go ahead and order it and replace it. They called me back and was going to charge me something like, what was it? Like $475 or something. I'm like, to replace a light? And he's like, yeah, there's like a lot of little bulbs in there, and they all have to be replaced. I'm like, that don't make sense. And as I have him on the phone, I start Googling, and I find a piece that replaces it for $75. I go, look, I just found this piece online for $75. It has 2 screws. Why are you charging me $400 for a 75 piece and 2 screws? So they ended up only charging me $100 for it. And I'm like, what? And then another time we had the Corvette, and I got something in the tire. So I drove by, and it was probably about 2 inches from the firewall, 1.5 inches maybe. Not from the firewall, but from the edge of the tire. Plenty of space for it to be plugged. Oh no, we're going to have to get you a new tire. That one's it's too close to the edge of the tire. I'm like, no, it's not. Are you going to plug this for me or not? No, we'd have to order it. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. Went down the street, paid $8 and had the tire plugged. It's ridiculous, the way they try to take advantage of people at this place. So I would not recommend shopping or, going to Dobbs unless you know your stuff and you know what it should cost and you want somebody else to do it and you can keep them in check, because they will take advantage of you. At least every time I've done it, and people I know who has been in the same situation. But anyway, Dobbs hat. Firefighter Fight muscular dystrophy. Trucker hat sold for $7, headed to Crete, Illinois. Alrighty, we got a Nike golf hat sold for $10, headed to Florida. Alrighty, we got some Clark's women's shoes. These sold for $12.50, headed to Middlesex. Let's have sex in the middle of North Carolina. Middlesex. Alrighty. We've got this Kip Winger box set, his solo CDs. Biggity Bam, this sold for $49 and headed to West Virginia. Alright, I love the feel of this this puffer jacket. It's Calvin Klein, but I don't know what material they're using here, but I love the feel of it. It's like, it's almost like what heaven would feel like, I think. But this vest here, women's vest, I think I got this at the Honey Hole. And I think I pulled it out of the bin before it was priced. And she priced it for me at the register, I think $6. Not 100%, somewhere in there. No more than 8. I think it was 6. Could have been 4. Somewhere in there. But sold for $25, headed to Miami Lakes, Florida. Alrighty, 20 Irish drinking songs. Jolly Beggarman. This was a honey hole find when I found all that Irish music. So I paid $1 for that. Sold for $18, headed to Earl, Arkansas. Alright, got a little Tears for Fears, Good Night song, cassette single sealed. Headed to Australia, sold for $23. Shelf 16. Over at the honey hole, I had found all these classic rock, hard rock stuff, including all this Rush and Rush related CD. This is all Rush, all this. So Victor is Alex's solo project. So if you see this and you can get it for $1 or whatever, or get it at the bins or whatever, make sure you grab that. Paid $1 for it, sold it for $19, and it's headed to Bay Village, Ohio. Okay, I just saw a couple more that sold from that day, getting hard rock stuff. So also on that day, I got all this Queensryche. And not that, and not that. It's just Queensryche that's here on this shelf. And we are going to sell Operation Mindcrime, Volume 1. Sold for $7. I paid $1 for it. Going to Hanson, Massachusetts. And I also found all of this. Billy Thorpe, Pink Floyd, Tom Petty, Shooting Star, these Yes, Supertramp, Dream Theater. But this Yes one sold here. So I paid $1 for it. Sold for $10.50. Headed to Knoxville, Tennessee. So that Calvin Klein vest, I love the feel of it. What I told you about that, pulling it out of the bin before they were priced. Same with these. Got these the same time, same day over there. And they're Talbot's crop pants. Originally priced like $99, $90 to $99. I got these ends on them. She charged me $3 for these. And they sold for $25, headed to Bentley, Louisiana. Oh, you want one more high dollar item? And then I'll call it for at least for now. There'll be like 20 items left. Ooh, I see something. Ta-da-da-da. We've got fallen stuff. That's why these things are going bye-bye history. It should be in this one. Mama Cass Elliott. Look at that. Right to it. I like it when it's easy. Yeah. All right. This was part of that 400-piece vinyl lot of the 60s country music. So I paid, this one was probably $1. I bought them at 2 different places. One place would cost me probably like 40 cents. The other place cost me like $1. So it's one or the other. And sold for $21. And it's headed down to Springfield, Missouri. Well, if you want to do it in comparison, this video took 1 hour and 15 minutes to ship and then pull and ship some items. So it gives you a perspective on how many I do. And I'm running slow today because I'm not feeling too well. But and Adrian had pulled a lot for me, thankfully. But I don't know how many pieces that was because I didn't check. I'm guessing maybe 60, 70, 80, 60 or 70 pieces in about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So, well, it took a little bit longer if I had to do all the pulling myself, obviously. But I'm going to print up the scan form now just in case I do not come back down because I don't want to forget to do that. And then I lose them. All right, so I'm going to do that. Is there any better feeling for real? For me, there's not a better feeling than going out, finding stuff, and flipping it for a profit. I mean, there's just something so satisfying about that. Right, Vern? It's almost like when you're eating, because you love to eat. His eye's finally healing better. I thought I was going to have to take him to the vet for an eye infection or whatever, but I was hoping it was just more allergy based, but it's looking a whole lot better now compared to what it was. So it's looking almost perfect. Yes. Yes. So hopefully that stays. And their itching ain't too bad yet this year, so don't have to get no Abaquil yet. That stuff's expensive. If I'm putting him right here and he's scratching, his legs start scratching, then it's time for Abaquil. Right, girl? But yeah, so that's everything for probably Saturday's video. If I do anything later, I'll add it to a Sunday video. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you for all the support, the love, the comments, the likes, and all that good stuff, and the puppy love. And my goofballs. And Jan's been looking at another puppy. She's always wanted a hound. So she's kind of looking at some hound dogs. And I told her, do it sooner than later. And we get one that's, already like 5, 6, 7 years old. So that she'll fit in with these guys age-wise. So, because if, we retire or whatever in 10 years and start doing more traveling, definitely don't want to leave the puppies alone, So it'd be nice to have them all about the same instead of getting like a young pup or anything. But anyway, so we may have 3 soon, but depends on how serious she is. She's actually looking now, so she's a little bit farther than what she normally does. Normally she just talks about it, and now she's looking. So we'll see if we rescue a special little hound dog. And hopefully we kind of want to get one, at least I do, and I think she does too, a little bit bigger than Courtney, so that Fern has more of a playmate, because Courtney can't really play with him too much anymore because her back legs and stuff, her hip area and stuff is not the best anymore. So maybe one that can handle his type of play. So, all right. Anyway, that's enough talking. So thanks everybody, and we will see you in the next video. Later.